Continuing to lead, and just Jose having little looks everywhere, still not able to get around him. What an unbelievable defensive masterclass this is from Unorthodox. Pit window we reckon is open, so the game reckons that these guys need to make one more pit stop for a fresh set of inters. As we see just Jose having a little to the inside. Dan tries to close the door, squeezes up against the pit wall. It goes late on the brakes just Dan, and somehow he's going to hold on to that position. Wow, unbelievable racing that was from Unorthodox. Just Jose had the inside line. Dan went so late on the brakes and managed to hold it down on the outside, and just Jose wasn't able to cling onto the position. That is incredible racing there from Unorthodox. Really got his elbows massively there in that little battle, but just Jose still not able to get ahead of Dan. But is he going to be able to do it now? He's going to have the outside. Dan's going to try and throw one back up the inside. Is he is? Oh, look at that. He's gone deep into the corner though. And I think just Jose's got to have that move done. He has. Just Jose swoops round into the lead of the Russian Grand Prix here at Motive Racing. Dan can fight it no more. He put up a valiant effort.
Audio check 1 2 3, we on? Audio check. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Motive Racing YouTube channel. We are here for the 12th round of the Formula 1 season on the Codemasters Formula 1 game here on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 platforms. And we're delighted to be back at the Temple of Speed Monza for the latest round in the season. This is going to set to be an absolute cracker here. One of the more exciting tracks is Monza. Hopefully everybody can keep it clean and avoid any big shunts coming into the braking zones. You're going to be braking from very, very high speeds of up to 220 miles an hour down to around 30-40 miles an hour for these tighter chicanes. So it's going to really set up the men from the boys tonight. But I'm sure we're going to be seeing the best of these drivers out on track. Joanne putting it on pole position in the qualifying session a few moments ago, just ahead of Sergey Zeynalov. Will be lining up on the front row. We've got RaKiMaJe and Game for Life on the second row behind them, with A. Thompson and Nemvidic, Bennett LCFC in 7th, then Clarky Boy in 8th, Crest Anime 9th, with Mr. Basil 10th, Rednas in 11th place on the grid, Raki in 12th, and DJ Phil rounding out the field as we're about to come under the lights here at Monza for the Italian Grand Prix at Motive Racing. As here we go, lights are coming on, we're moments away from the start, green flag is waving, and it is nice down, away we go. Great start from Sergey Zeynalov, gets a slightly better bite than Joel. I'm up towards the first corner we come. Is that going to pay any dividends? Looks like Joel's going to hold around the outside for the lead of the race. RaKiMaJe running in third as we just see Mr. Basil's made up a couple of positions there. Creston Anime also getting ahead of A. Thompson. Oh no, as Mr. Basil spun round at the first chicane. Looks like he's the only one involved in the wars there. Joel leads coming through Curva Grande for the first time. Sergey in second. There's Bennett LCFC up into third place. Good start from him. RaKiMaJe fourth. Creston Anime, A. Thompson, Clarky Boy has gained a position up into 7th place. Red Rednass, Nemvedic, RaKi, Djphil, Game for Life, and Mr. Basil at the back. Going through the Curva Grande, down to P13 at the start of this race. Joram leads ahead of Sergey right now. Bennett, Horatio, there's Crescent Anime with A. Thompson, Haas in the back of him. Clarky Boy in the background, coming in towards Lesmo 1. You got Rednass, Nemvedic, RaKi there in 10th with Djphil, Game for Life, and Mr. Basil's had another moment there. He's well down the back of the pack. Looks like he's had an absolute horror show of a start to this race. Joram though trying to make a break out the front. He's already got almost a second of a gap here to Sergey as Bennett LCFC is trying to chase these guys down in the opening stages of this race. You got Horatio, Crescent Anime, A. Thompson, Clarky Boy has got heavy pressure from Rednass right now. Nemvedic, RaKi, Djphil, Game for Life, and Mr. Basil, after a horror show of a start to this race, is way down the back of the pack and it's got absolutely a mountain to climb in this race. Rednass has got ahead of Clarky Boy up into 7th place on the exit of Ascari up towards Parabolica. He's got that move done. Nemvedic there in the background. You got RaKi as the two McLarens, Djphil and Game for Life having a bit of a dice, but it looks like Game for Life, one of the contenders in the championship for this season, is having an absolute mare tonight. I don't know what's happened to Game for Life, but he's really struggled to get going tonight. I think he might have had a moment coming through the first sector on lap 1, but he's trying to make the move here on his teammate as he's looking to the outside, but Djphil's trying to come back at him here, is he? I think in the end Djphil very sensibly letting his teammates go. So go on mate, go and have a crack at them up the front. Rednass has got ahead of Crescent Anime though, up into 6th place, so Rednass has gained 2 positions since the start. Joram's still leading, he's got a 2-second gap here at the moment over Sergey as Bennett LCFC is trying to hassle the back of Sergey if he possibly can. Horatio, A. Thompson, Rednass there all over the back of A. Thompson. Rednass continuing to make great gains at the start of this race. Crescent Anime, Clarky Boy and Nemvedic in the background of this with RaKi, Game for Life, Djphil, and Mr. Basil's been in and out of the pits in the early stage of this race, and hard tyres, I can tell you for free, will easily make it to the end around Monza after 26 laps. You can do pretty much any stint on the hard tyres at Monza here on the F1 game because there's no tyre wear whatsoever. It's basically just straights and chicanes, no tyre wear, nothing really to worry about in that department. But Joram leads here, coming towards the end of lap 2 in towards the Parabolica for the second time. As we can see, Rednass has made a mistake. Oh no, what's happened to Rednass? Rednass is wide coming next to Ascari. Oh, he's just had to let the whole pack come through nearly there. And Rednass is now down in 12th place. He's had to let Clarky Boy, Nemvedic, RaKi, Game for Life, and Djphil all through as Joram has dusted on the fastest lap of the race so far, 123.6. He's flying out the front, looks to be leaving them in his wake right now. Bennett's got Horatio all over the back of him, coming down the start-finish straight, but Horatio a little bit too far back, coming into the braking zone. A. Thompson there in 5th. Crescent Anime's got Clarky Boy Hass in the back of him coming into turn 1, but it isn't close enough to get the move done at the moment. Nemvedic there running in 8th place. You've got RaKi, Game for Life, Djphil, Rednass in 12th, and Mr. Basil rounding out the pack at the moment. But Joe, I'm coming in towards the De La Rocha chicane for the 3rd time in this race. Looks as though Game for Life's picked off Nemvedic up into 9th place. He's gained another position there. Bennett LCFC has come back at a ratio, but those two all sorts of sideways there coming through the De La Rocha chicane. But in the end, Bennett does hold on for that 3rd place. They've now got A. Thompson and hot pursuit here in 5th place as they're on the back of the man in P2, Sergey Zeynalov. Joram is absolutely wiping the floor with them tonight. He's miles ahead of this battle. 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th places here as we're riding on board with Horatio. He's got DRS on Bennett, but Bennett's got DRS on Sergey, and it's not coming to any avail for any of these guys. But A. Thompson looking to the inside in towards Ascari as Sergey just chops Bennett off there. But A. Thompson has managed to get the move done on Horatio, and you see Bennett ever so wide out of Ascari, keeps it together. Clarky Boy joining this battle here in 7th place, looking to try and get himself involved if he possibly can. Sergey's made a break for it as Bennett and A. Thompson batting out over 3rd and 4th places. Horatio and Crescent Anime with Clarky Boy in the background of this. Rednass has got back ahead of Djphil. Oh no! Rednass just snaps into the wall there as he was trying to make the move up into 11th place. He's lost his front wing by the looks of it. He'll have to come in and get that repaired as soon as he possibly can. As we see the battle for 5th place, Crescent Anime has got it done on Horatio up into 5th place down the start-finish straight. Sergey's still got Bennett and A. Thompson in hot pursuit as we see a little bit of contact there between Bennett and A. Thompson. Oh no! And Bennett gets spun off there onto the grass, and he's going to have a lot of work to do here now. He's going to drop back behind Game for Life, RaKi and Nemvedic. Game for Life only a couple of seconds off of this battle for the podiums as Sergey Zeynalov is now able to breathe a bit of a sigh of relief here as now A. Thompson has just managed to squeeze ahead of Horatio there, but Crescent Anime up into a podium spot. Great stuff for Crescent Anime as Clarky Boy still on the back of this train here, trying to get onto the podium if he can. Clarky Boy in the Ferrari is definitely poised. If any of these guys start to trip over each other or make mistakes, he will definitely be in a position to try and capitalise on that. Rednass in the pits at the end of lap 3. Joram still leads by over 6 seconds to Sergey at the moment. Sergey coming into Ascari. He's got 1.3 back to Crescent Anime, A. Thompson, Horatio and Clarky Boy running in 6th place. We've got Game for Life a couple of seconds behind these guys, starting to reel them in by quite a bit now. Game for Life definitely going to be appearing on the horizon pretty shortly in this battle. You got RaKi, Nemvidic, Bennett, LCFC completing the top 10. Then DJ Phil, Mr. Basil, Rednas. Obviously, Mr. Basil and Rednas have been into the pits already so far in this race. Joam completes the 4th lap with almost a 7-second lead over Sergey right now. A. Thompson's got ahead of Horatio out of Parabolica, but they're side by side coming down the start-finish straight. And A. Thompson's going to have the inside line. Horatio's going to try and get this round the long way if he can. Still side by side, both DRS having got the man in front of them, Crescent Anime, just in their sights, but you see that Horatio just squeezing ahead of A. Thompson back up into 4th place there. Has that one done. RaKiMaJe and Game for Life in the background of this coming through the Curva Grande. Look like they're going to be getting involved in this battle for 4th place, or 3rd even, very shortly. A. Thompson has just managed to out-drag Horatio coming up towards the 2nd chicane. Is he going to be able to get that done? I think he is. Yep, back up into P4 there. Nicely done. Crescent Anime really close on the back of Sergey Zeynalov right now, only 0.4 of a second between these two at the moment, so this is hotting up in this battle for P2. Joam just completely disappearing off into the distance so far in this race. A. Thompson and Horatio still going at it for 4th and 5th. RaKiMaJe in 6th place with Game for Life now eyeing up a move here. Game for Life looking to the outside, up towards Scary chicane, underneath the old circuit they come. Game for Life has that done, routine stuff there up into 6th place and can now try and set his sights on the guys up ahead. Game for Life knows he's got work to do in this race because his championship rival Joam is out the front taking points left, right and centre off of him here, so Game for Life needs to get himself ahead of these cars. He's got Crescent Anime, A. Thompson and Horatio just in front of him. He needs to pick them off as soon as he can if he wants to try and get onto the back of Joam in this race, but he's currently 10 seconds behind his championship leader, a championship rival, as he continues to put distance between himself and his rivals tonight. Sergey's got Crescent Anime looking to his inside up towards turn 1. Crescent Anime thinks better of going for that move. You've got A. Thompson, Horatio, Game for Life, RaKiMaJe is on the back of this train here. RaKi there in 8th place, dropping off of these guys a little bit. Nemvidic, Bennett, LCFC down in P10 after that little skirmish a couple of laps ago. DJ Phil, Mr. Basil and Rednas completing the field here in this race so far, but Joam continuing to put in the laps and do the business out the front. He's been absolutely in control of this one since the beginning. He's just coming through Lesmo 1 at the moment, but it's been a flawless display so far from Joam. Sergey's managed to pull out a bit of a gap so far on this lap to Crescent Anime. He's got almost a second to him. A. Thompson there in 4th has got Horatio still hassling the back of him. Game for Life likewise, and RaKiMaJe still on these guys very close behind in contention for that podium spot. Game for Life's got ahead of Horatio on the exit of Lesmo 2, and now RaKiMaJe might fancy his chances here. RaKiMaJe is going to have the toe. He's going to get a run here on Horatio. Is he going to look to the inside into Ascari? Thinks better of it. No, he doesn't. There's been a lag going on there, as yeah, he does hold position for the time being. Bit of lag going on there on my end, I think, but those two as they were beforehand. Sergey still sat in 2nd place. He's got just under a second to Crescent Anime, A. Thompson, Game for Life, Horatio and RaKiMaJe in that battle. The 5 cars separated by about 4 seconds here on the track. It's very, very close here. You've got RaKi, Nemvidic 2/10 apart coming into Parabolica. Bennett, LCFC trying to get involved in this action if he can. Bennett's going to get a great run coming out of Parabolica, but the thing is Nemvidic is going to have DRS on RaKi, which is going to affect Bennett's ability to really close that gap to him coming down the start finish over the line to complete lap 6 of the race up towards the first corner. What's going to happen as we see there, Bennett pulling out to the slipstream here, but also Nemvidic nowhere to go. In the end, taps the back of RaKi a little bit into turn 1. They come and it looks like they're holding position here. Somehow they've all got through unscathed there, but it looks like Nemvidic and Bennett both dropping off the back of RaKi a little bit on the exit of the corner. Up through Curva Grande we come. This is going to be Bennett LCFC's big opportunity to get this move done up into 9th place. If he can get a good slipstream here and pull out at the right moment, he might be able to do a Seb Vettel on RaKi, but in the end, no, on Nemvidic, sorry, but in the end thinks better of that one. Not quite in a position to do it. Oh, Nemvidic is wide though on the exit. There's a 2nd chicane, and that's Bennett there up the inside up into 9th place. Nicely done there from Bennett. Waited for his opportunity and pounced when Nemvidic went wide. Game for Life still on the back of A. Thompson, but A. Thompson's looking all over Crescent Anime here up towards Ascari. Can he get this done? He's looking out at the outside, but Crescent Anime defends the inside line beautifully there and still holding on to that 3rd place. These 3 guys dropping off the back of Sergey. Oh no, as we see Crescent Anime losing the car. Oh no, Crescent Anime's lost it, and no, it's not Crescent Anime. Yes, it is Crescent Anime. Yes, he did lose the car. And A. Thompson and Crescent Anime. No, it wasn't Crescent Anime. It was Game for Life. But Game for Life way down the field now. Crescent Enemy still on the back of A. Thompson coming out of the Parabolica. What's going to happen here as we see these two going absolutely bumper to bumper right now. RaKiMaJe running in 5th place. He's just behind Horatio, but Crescent Enemy and A. Thompson up towards the first corner, and Crescent Enemy does hold on for that 2nd place for the time being. Nemvidic has picked up a time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, so that's going to affect him once we get to the end of the race, that is for sure. Crescent Enemy and A. Thompson though still going at it all the way through Curva Grande. In the end, A. Thompson's going to get a very strong slipstream coming up towards the 2nd chicane. Is he going to be able to pull out and go for a move up the inside? I think he's going to think about it, but in the end thinks better of it. 2 seconds back is Horatio. RaKiMaJe dropped off a little bit off of Horatio this last lap or so. He's 1.3 off of him at the moment. Bennett LCFC running in 6th place. He's got 3/10 back to Raki at the moment. Sergey's been into the pits for some fresh soft tyres. Looks like DJ Phil's still out there at the moment. Nemvidic obviously came in and got that drive-through. Not the drive-through, he got the penalty for speeding in the pits. Game for Life is in the pit lane right now as Mr. Basil's coming over the line to complete his 7th lap of the race. He's up into 11th place with Game for Life being in the pits. Rednas there after a strong start to this race, having a nightmare tonight here at Monza. He's really not had the rub of the green tonight at all. He's down in 12th place at the moment in this race. Joam though still leading the race, still absolutely flying out of the front. He's been the class of the field so far. Nobody's been on the level of this man so far. Crescent Enemy still running in 2nd place. He's still got 4/10 of a gap to A. Thompson, with Horatio still very close behind, and RaKiMaJe is closed up onto the back of these guys a little bit over the course of this lap as we see Horatio into the pits at the end of lap 8 to make his pit stop, so he'll be able to go to the end if he puts a set of mediums or hards on, I would imagine, from here. But RaKiMaJe up into 4th. A. Thompson on the back of Crescent Enemy. Here we go up towards turn 1 once again. It's round 4 or round 5 between these two. I've lost count of how many times they've gone wheel to wheel, but here we go. A. Thompson trying to get it around the outside here of Crescent Enemy. Crescent Enemy in the end thinks better of fighting that one too hard as A. Thompson got a better run coming out of the first chicane, and A. Thompson back up into P2. Is Crescent Enemy going to have the straight line speed to try and come back at him here coming up towards the 2nd chicane? I think he's a bit too far back, and A. Thompson pulls off that move up into 2nd place. Beautifully done there from the Aston Martin. Raki on the back of Bennett LCFC. Looks like Bennett's made that move actually up into 5th place, so Bennett up a position, can now focus his attention on the leaders, but he goes a little bit wide, no, and Bennett gets all over the gravel. Raki back up the inside into 5th place until Esmo 1. Can Raki get that one back straight away? I think he has done, yes. Raki's back up into P5 there. Bennett with a little lapse of concentration after he made that move has dropped down to P6 once again. Crescent Enemy still on the back of A. Thompson. These two having a great battle for 2nd place, which they have been having for a few laps. They're continuing to lose time to the leader Joram, but at this point Joram has absolutely got this in the bag, and it's really between these two for 2nd place. Game for Life still on the back of Rednas, as we can see Rednas now has in the back of Mr. Basil coming through the Curva Grande. He's going to have the inside. If he can stay on the outside for the Curva Grande, he'll have the inside for the De La Rocha chicane. Here we go, Rednas down the inside. It's going to get that move done into 11th place. Beautifully done there from Rednas, but Mr. Basil goes deep into the corner and somehow manages to get that position back. Rednas gets a beautiful exit though, still side by side up towards Lesmo 1. Can Rednas hold it around the outside, or is Mr. Basil going to have the inside and hug that inside line? I think he's just about going to be able to squeeze around the outside is Rednas. He does so beautifully there, and around the outside of Lesmo 2. Rednas is up into 11th place, and now Game for Life is going to get a run here, but Rednas has still got Mr. Basil on his outside underneath the old circuit up towards Ascari. What is going to happen between these guys as we see Mr. Basil squeezing around the outside once again, and now Game for Life is trying to get involved, and Game for Life gets tagged there by Rednas. Looked like he was trying to dip his nose in the inside there, and in the end got a little bit out of shape, and Rednas holds on for P12 as Game for Life drops well off the back of these guys. He's now 7 seconds behind them, and this race, if it could have not got any worse for Game for Life, it just has. It's got even worse for this man who's in the championship battle, and his championship rival currently leading the race and set to take maximum points here. This could not have gone any worse for Game for Life tonight, as we see Rednas in the slipstream of Mr. Basil trying to make this move up into an P11. He's going to get that one done before we even got to the corner there, so Rednas is up into 11th place. Mr. Basil losing out there as Rednas goes a little bit deep into the first part of chicane, but gets the exit regardless. But Bennett's still on the back of Raki right now, a 10th between these two on the exit of the Ascari chicane. Now we're going to see Bennett looking to the outside as Raki's going to try and defend that inside line into Parabolica, but to no avail. Bennett swoops around the outside, but Raki's late on the brakes though, very late on the brakes. Does he get it stopped in time? He does get it stopped in time. Bennett's going to get the better exit out of the corner, but beautifully done there from Raki, holding on to that 4th place as we see there. That's Bennett into the pits, and that aborts that little battle there. So that's Raki continuing on his way, and Bennett LCFC is going to put a change of tyres on, presumably medium tyres, and try try and go to the end from here. So that would probably be the most obvious strategic decision at the moment. But this man Raki in a podium spot at the moment. We'll see where he comes out once all the pit stops are said and done. Horatio is just coming down the start finish straight now. He's managed to jump Clarky-Boy in the pits, as has Crescent Anime. So Clarky-Boy comes out in P7, but I think that'll be P6 once the pit stops are done. I think because Raki still has to come in also. Yeah, I think it should be P6 once the pit stops are done. So Clarky-Boy could be set for to equal his personal best result here at Motive. His best result so far was a P6 at Spa, so he's looking to try and replicate that if he can. He's currently pretty close to the back of Crescent Anime. Could even be in for a top 5 tonight if he really pushes, but good result at the moment, and he'll want to try and consolidate those points in the championship. But we've already got Raki in that final podium spot. He's still yet to pit. Everybody else, barring Joram and A. Thompson, but they should come out, I think, in the positions that they are, as we see Joram into the box now. The race leader is in and stops in the box. Let's see what tyres he puts on. He's putting on the mediums. That's pretty standard choice there. Soft medium run. Monza's quite easy. The tyre wear almost non-existent around here, so he is going to be able to make that work with ease. A. Thompson there coming down the start finish straight. He's just completing his 11th lap of the race, and Game for Life's out. Game for Life's out of the race. And where has he crashed, and has he sustained damage enough for the safety car to be deployed? I don't know where he is yet, but that could be a big one. There are double waved yellow flags in the 3rd sector, so I wonder whether that's going to be enough to warrant a safety car. Now there's double waved yellows in sector 1, so I don't know whether it's between the cutoff. Maybe he's lost it coming out of the final corner. But it looks like we're not going to have a VSC or a safety car, so I think the marshals are going to try and get that cleared up without a safety car, as we see Clarky-Boy really close on the back of Crescent Anime right now. These two pretty much inside each other, coming up towards the De La Rocha chicane. Clarky-Boy making a move down the inside. Oh no, not quite. Thinks better at that one. Braked a little bit earlier there than Crescent Anime. Crescent Anime had more confidence on the brakes, but Clarky-Boy seems to have better grip through the corners. I wonder if Clarky-Boy's got a bit more downforce on that Ferrari than Crescent Anime's got in the Alpha. But for the time being, the Crescent Anime holding on to that position at the moment. But they've got these two 4 seconds clear of Bennett LCFC. They're a little way behind Horatio, almost 2 seconds behind this man running in 5th place in the Alpine. They're about 10 seconds behind Sergey Zeynalov, who's running in 4th place. Raki's still yet to pit. They should jump Raki, but it might be close. But the thing is, the speed that you carry down the start-finish straight means that you make up more time when you've done the undercut than you usually would. So if you look at the gaps, there's less time. You spend more time in the pits. Essentially, you lose more time in the pits because of how fast the cars are going down the start-finish straight. As Game for Life says, can he join the commentary box? Yeah, why not, mate? Why not? As we see Clarky-Boy getting up into P6 around the outside of Crescent Anime there. Brilliant move there from Clarky-Boy. Let's get Game for Life in the box. See what he has to say about tonight. It's not been the race for him, has it? It really hasn't. But he will. I'm sure we're looking to try and bounce back next time. I'm not sure what the championship situation is like now, because obviously with Joram leading the race, it's going to be a real prime position for Joram to try and close the gap if he hasn't already taken the championship lead before this round. So yeah, let's grab Game for Life in the box and see what he has to say. I think PlayStation's been a bit naughty right now. I've just pressed add Game for Life to the party chat, and it's now frozen me on the menu. So I do apologise for this, ladies and gentlemen. I will have the action back as soon as I possibly can. PlayStation's just pinged me into a menu and it won't let me now come out of it, so it's just saying please wait with a load of symbols. So right now I'm as stuck as anything. I'm really debating my choices to have you try and do a good deed, you try and get someone in the commentary box to have a chat with them, and this is what happens. This is why I don't do nice things. Right, here we go. I think we should have invited him into the box. If this hasn't invited him, I'm going to go absolutely. It hasn't even invited him. What is going on with this thing, man? I do not understand. This is actually making me mad. This is the reason why people go crazy, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, here we go. Right, game_4_life09. Just invite him. Don't ask me stupid questions, PlayStation. Just invite him. Thank you. Right. Let's put my headphones on so I can hear him talk. Right, so here we go, back on the action here, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies for that little delay whilst we were just getting Game for Life in the box. Hopefully he jumps in ASAP, but looks like we got Rednas separated by 0.8 of a second between Djphil trying to get himself into that battle for 11th place right now. We have got Game for Life in the commentary box. Really unfortunate for you there, mate. I saw you retire from the race a couple of laps ago. Tell us what happened there. Was it did you get a little bit out of shape? Did you lose the front wing? What happened? Yeah, we saw the incident between yourself and Rednas a few laps before that. Fair enough. I mean, obviously, down in P13, it was going to be difficult to score points from that position. Just tell us, from your perspective, obviously with Joab out there leading the race right now, he seems to be in cruise control at this point. Is this going to be really hurting your championship? Is it going to have to be a case of you really switching it on from now until the end of the season to bring yourself back into that fight? What's the plan from here on in, mate? You like the more downforcey tracks, the ones that are flowing, the ones that have lots of things to do, whereas this one is very much about nailing the chicanes, getting traction out of the corners and having a low downforce setup, isn't it? Really, that's what the key to Monza is. I suppose what you probably like probably more into the tracks like Baku, like Abu Dhabi, that sort of thing, Bahrain. Are those your sort of tracks? Sounds good. Well, obviously, the rest of the season we've got Russia, which should suit your driving style. A track with plenty of corners, the wall's never too far away, very uncompromising. Singapore, that's also would be a good one for you. I imagine USA's probably a little bit of a mix-up. I'd say that's sort of like a Joam track, but it'd also be a pretty good track for yourself. But it's interesting getting to know the styles of certain drivers. You've got Abu Dhabi, Brazil. I don't know why I imagine Joam would be pretty good around Brazil. I don't know why I think that. To me, I feel like that's going to be a bit of a Joam track. Imola could be a bit of a mix-up, but there's still lots of races left in this season. Always, we just see Horatio moving up into P2. A. Thompson and Sergey Zeynalov both into the pits here at the end of lap 17. So they're putting on, I imagine, soft tyres going to the end. Bennett LCFC's jumped both of them two up into 4th. So A. Thompson and Sergey losing out to Bennett LCFC through the pit stops. Clarky Boy, big shout out to Clarky Boy right now in 3rd place in this race. I don't want to put the commentator's curse on him. I don't want to put the pressure on him too much. I don't want to make him feel like the world's watching him right now. But Clarky Boy currently sat in a podium spot in this race. I'm absent. No! He's lost it. He's lost it coming out of the chicane. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no, I'm so sorry, Ryan. Oh, God. Okay, let's stop watching him. Oh my God. Bennett up into the final podium spot. A. Thompson within 1.4 of him right now as we've got Sergey Zeynalov closing up onto the back of Crescent Anime here. 0.4 of a second between these two as they're coming under the old circuit up towards Ascari. Sergey Zeynalov looking to try and put this pressure on if he can. Crescent Anime put those hard tyres on a few laps ago. He didn't need to put the hards on lap 12. He could have done a set of mediums easily to the end from there. But here we go, Sergey in the slipstream as they're coming up towards the Parabolica. He's going to get a good run here, and let's see if Sergey can get this move done. Is he going to wait until the start-finish straight before going for this move? He's definitely pretty close coming on the exit. No, he gets him done before we even get out onto the straight. So Sergey up into 6th, and I think he'll have DRS as well, because I believe he was behind at the detection point. And yes, he was behind at the detection point, and he's now leaving him for dead down the start finish straight up towards turn 1. So that's Sergey Zeynalov up into P6, and beautifully done there from him. I'm still leading this race, and Game for Life, he's looked really unstoppable in this session. I know in the qualifying, did you do your lap on the mediums in qualifying? I think you did, didn't you? Sector 2. Yeah. Oh yeah, Ascari chicane, the one before the 2 long straights. Yeah, I know the one you mean. Yeah, that can be tricky, but especially because around Monza, when you've got long straights and you need a low downforce setup, it's generally the case that it's going to be a bit of a compromise. So through the corners like the Lesmos and Ascari, which do require the car to be very planted, it can often be a bit of a compromise to have such a fast car down the straights, because you're obviously going to lose grip, and it's going to be a trade-off, as you're going to lose lap time coming through those faster corners for sure. So yeah, I can see obviously where there are downfalls to that, but we're currently watching Joram right now, I think championship leader now. He's also the race leader. He's just coming up on some traffic. I think that is Rednas there just ahead of him. It is Rednas, so Rednas is running in P11. Obviously had the collision with yourself earlier, Game for Life. He's currently still going. He's 11 seconds off of the final point, which is currently being occupied by Mr. Basil. So Mr. Basil has gone a long way on those on those hard tyres, and looks like he's going to try and go to the end of the race on those hard tyres. So that'd be an impressive job there from him if he can make those last another 7 laps. Yeah, shoot. DJ Phil. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. DJ Phil is like one of the most inconsistent racers I've ever seen. Some races he's in there fighting and he's in the mid pack, he's having battles, and then some races that he seems to struggle. I don't know whether it's certain tracks that he doesn't really get on with. I don't know if he's is he at the screen right now? He seems to be ghosting. I think he is. He's just slowing down for the leaders, I think. But yeah, he's one driver who sometimes he sets the world alight. I tell you one thing that DJ Phil is really good in. That's default setups on project cars. I've raced with DJ Phil for a few seasons now, and whilst I don't really play F1 a whole lot, I've played project cars with him quite a few times, and he's very, very good on default setups on project cars. But he seems to struggle in some of the tracks here on F1. I don't know whether or not he's just used to playing project cars. That could maybe be it. Could be because he plays a lot of project cars, so ends up being used to one way of handling, and maybe doesn't get used to another. But I'm just noticing here, RaKiMaJe and Sergey Zeynalov are side by side up towards Parabolica. Is RaKiMaJe going to make that move? No, Sergey does take his normal racing line into the final corner, holds onto that P4 for now. Yeah, RaKiMaJe just trading here with Sergey Zeynalov. He's going to have that slipstream though, and he'll get DRS coming down the start-finish straight. Now the Ferrari is going to get that toe, but in the end Sergey's going to try and move to the inside and deflect that toe if he can. RaKiMaJe around the outside up towards turn 1. Sergey late on the brakes. Can Sergey get it done? Hold on to that position. I think he is going to hold on. Goes very deep into the first part of the chicane, but does manage to hold on to that P4. RaKiMaJe still hounding and hassling him though in any way that he can, coming through the Curva Grande right now. These guys 4.5 seconds ahead of Crescent. They're about 5 seconds off of the back of Bennett LCFC. Raki currently running just behind. In fact, no, Raki's done Crescent on the exit of the first corner there. So Raki's up into P6. He manages to get that position done, coming through Curva Grande, and a long way behind Sergey and RaKiMaJe, but Raki up into P6 and on course for 8 championship points here. His teammate and son Joam leading the race, but Raki putting a nice move there up into P6. As we are noticing there, RaKiMaJe's just dropped a little bit off of Sergey over the course of this lap. He was on the back of him at the beginning of this lap, but he's now half a second adrift. RaKiMaJe's also picked up a penalty during the race, so that, I don't know if it's for track limits or pit lane violation of some sort, but we'll have to obviously take that into account. He's going to need to not only get ahead of Sergey before the end of the race, but he's also going to need to pull out a gap to him as well before we get to the end. So that's going to be a point that we need to keep an eye on. Horatio still on the back of Crescent right now, 0.2 of a second between these two coming into Parabolica, but Crescent holding on for P7 for the time being. Both of these two have had a bit of a topsy-turvy race. They were up there near the sharp end at the beginning, battling for the podium spots, but it's not really developed in the way that either of these two would have wanted it to, as side by side down the start-finish straight. Horatio looking to the inside, DRS wide open for the Alpine, manages to pull the move off beautifully there ahead of the Alfa Romeo up into 7th place. Very routine stuff there from Horatio. He can now try and set his sights on Raki just a second up the road ahead of him. RaKiMaJe still on the back of Sergey right now, 7/10 between these two. Nemvinic has picked up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pits, it would appear on the timing screen. So he's obviously gone a little bit hot-headed into the pit lane, and as a result will be set back 5 seconds at the end of this once all is said and done and the checker flag is waved. Joram still leading this race at the moment though. He's got over 23 seconds out the front, is in cruise control, and looks like he's he's had this race won from a long way out here. The only thing that could possibly stop him now is if he does what he did in Bahrain, which I'm sure you remember, Game for Life. He crashed out from the lead. I think we just lost Game for Life in the commentary box there, but Joram is still leading this race, and he's just doing exactly what he has to do here tonight. No, I was just saying, the only way that Joam could lose this race now is if he did what he did in Bahrain in the first race. That's the only way that he could lose this one. Yeah, crashed out of the lead when he had it under control, but I don't think he's going to be doing that tonight, because it's not like he's got any pressure. No one's pushing him, no one's keeping him close. He's got 23 seconds to A. Thompson. He's on the inferior tyre compared to A. Thompson because he put it on a few laps ago. But yeah, he can easily get these medium tyres to the end. He doesn't need to push, he doesn't need to take risks. All he needs to do is just navigate that Red Bull around the next 4 laps of this track, as he is coming up on some traffic here. So that traffic would appear to be, I think it's no, it's not DJ Phil. It's Rednas there. Yeah, definitely. For Joram at the moment, he'll definitely take consolation. He'll definitely be happy to know that he is a long way ahead of A. Thompson, so he's got that gap and he doesn't need to push too hard. But then again, a lot of the time when you're driving, the thing that keeps you focused is the fact that you're pushing, and when you're not pushing, when you're not going for it as hard as you can, then it can often snap you out of that zone where you stop focusing and stop paying attention, and that can cause you to make mistakes. That can cause you to drop it on the curb or put it into the wall. Most known incidents of this happening in real life is Ayrton Senna at Monaco, when the McLaren team came on the radio and said to him, look, just slow down, you've got a huge gap, you don't need to push. And literally within a few seconds of that message coming through, he crashed it through Portier into the barriers, and the rest is history right there. Did go on to win the race 6 times, but that was certainly a low point in his record around Monaco. But hopefully Joram doesn't need to switch off or anything. Hopefully he's in full control of what he's doing right now. Hopefully he's got a hold of himself and isn't on too much of an autopilot, but he's currently got 22 seconds out the front, so he's got this in hand, and he really just needs to see this one out. He's got this one absolutely signed and sealed, and he just needs to take it to the post, put it into the bag, and off it goes, and through the letterbox it will go the next day or maybe a couple of days later, but at least he's got it there, he's got that insurance, and he knows that he's pretty much got it sorted. But right now A. Thompson running in second place. A. Thompson's got a big gap back to Bennett, so to be fair, A. Thompson's driven a hell of a race as well. Bennett running in the final podium spot on those medium tyres. He's got 4 seconds back to Sergey running in 4th. RaKiMaJe in P5 at the moment, he's 2.7 off at the back of Sergey. Then you've got RaKiMaJe running in 6th place. Raki starting to maybe close in a little bit on RaKiMaJe, I don't know, maybe. These guys 6th and 7th places. Raki on obviously running on the medium tyres, so he'll have slower tyres than RaKiMaJe at this point. Oh, as we see Raki losing it. Oh, Raki's lost it coming out of turn 1. Oh, what a shame. Gets it pointing in the right direction again, but that's definitely going to knock him back a little bit. So Joam's still leading this race. The whole pack just a little bit spread out now, not really a whole lot going on, but Joam is pretty much going to have this one done as long as he gets this round the last 2 laps of the race. He's been very strong over these last few races as Joam. He's really sort of come into his own. He's taken the fight to the man alongside me in the commentary box, Game for Life, this season, and Game for Life knows, obviously, you know, mate, it's going to be a very tough battle from here on in with Joam on the form that he's in right now. He seems to have really stepped it up to the next level over these last few rounds, hasn't he? Yeah. France, I think it was, yeah. I believe it was France. Yeah, both of those races really did get away from him because he was up there fighting for the wins and then had a lot of bad luck, ended up crashing out from the lead in Bahrain. Obviously we had the loads of safety cars in both of those rounds. We ended up having to change the settings for the lobbies here at Motive because basically we were getting safety cars like every lap and it was getting ridiculous, so we changed it so that we were on reduced safety cars so we wouldn't have as many throughout the race. I'm just seeing Raki there coming into the pits at the end of lap 26, so it's not even like he can do an outlap and then do a fastest lap or anything, but then besides that he's also put the hard tyres on. So I wonder if Raki had maybe only used one different tyre compound during this race and he's been told that he has to put another one on. I wonder whether that's the case, because he's just come into the pits at the end of lap 26, didn't need to come in, no requirement for a pit stop, but he's coming anyway. But anyway, we're going to flick to the race leader here, Joram. He's coming out on the exit of Lesmo 2 at the moment, up towards the old circuit, which leads towards the Ascari chicane. He'll have the left and a right, followed by the left out onto the back straight. Then he'll have the right hand turn of the Parabolica to go. Joram has driven an absolutely superb race here tonight. Qualified on pole position, has not looked back since the beginning of this one. He's been in control of it. He managed to pull out an enormous gap at the start of the race on those soft tyres. He had about a 15-second gap before the pit window. Since then he's just managed things. A. Thompson's matched him in this final stint, but Joram had the gap, had the cushion, and has been the man to beat out there tonight. Joram comes up towards the line and takes the checker flag here at Monza. He takes round 12 at the Formula 1 season here at Motive Racing on the Codemasters Formula 1 game. Great drive from Joram tonight. Really pulled out all the stops and ultimately was unbeatable out there on track. Congratulations to Joram in the Red Bull. It's going to be A. Thompson who's going to come round to take second spot here tonight. Just about manages to put a lap there on somebody as he comes over the line. Mr. Basil, Kresnanime, Rednast, Nemvilic and Raki have all finished the race a lap down. Medit LCFC is coming out of the Parabolica and he's momentarily going to finish the race on the podium spots. Up towards the line he comes as he's just put a lap there on DJ Phil. Sergey Zeynalov's going to come around to take a P4 in the end. Managed to fend off the challenge of RaKiMaJe. Horatio's got ahead of RaKiMaJe, so Horatio into 5th place. RaKiMaJe seems to have had a bit of a mare in the last part of this race. He was running in a podium spot out of the pits, but it's gone all wrong for RaKiMaJe in the final few laps. He does still match his personal best finish here at Motive with a P6. He obviously got his best finish at Spa of a 6th place, and he matches that here tonight at Monza. So Clarky boy will be happy with that, but he'll be so frustrated to have lost out on that podium spot. The commentator's curse once again proving it is a real thing here at Motive. I'm sorry, Ryan, I'm really sorry. But anyway, that is that, ladies and gentlemen, for the Italian Grand Prix here at Motive Racing. Your winner tonight, Joram, in the end, going to extend his championship gap at the top of the standings. Absolutely brilliant drive there from him. It's going to be, he's joined on the podium tonight also by obviously Bennett in 3rd, but A. Thompson did get 2nd place and really reel that gap down towards the end of the race. So A. Thompson putting in a hell of a shift in the last part of that one. Game for Life, I want to thank you for, oh sorry mate, go on. Start, he was sort of stuck in the mid pack for a while, and he really did have to build his way back up through the pack. So he managed to pull out the gap to Sergey and Horatio at the end. So Bennett's definitely a contender for driver of the day. For me though, it's hard to look past Joram. I've got to give my driver of the day to Joram just because of the dominance that he exerted over this field. A. Thompson had the pace but left it too late, I think, to make his charge, and by that point Joram was gone. He was just in another postcode, and he duly went and took the win. Yeah, I think that probably everybody else tripping over behind them just allowed him to pull out that gap, and by the time that everyone else had stopped tripping over each other, he was just long gone. So yeah, that's really the story of that one. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to say a big thank you to everybody who joined us on the live stream. Thank you, Game for Life, for jumping in the comments box with me, keeping me company for the last few laps. Commiserations obviously on your race tonight. Hopefully we'll see you bounce back stronger and be in there fighting in contention for some wins and podiums, and maybe even the championship with Joram over the course of this season. Thank you for tonight, buddy. Thanks everybody, we will see you in the next one. Join us next week for round 13 of the Formula 1 season. We'll be live same time, same place as always at Russia for next Friday, so join us then. But big thank you everybody, and we will see you in the next one. Have a great evening, and see ya.